You need to love yourself too much to do these bad habits. These habits that you're trying to fill a hole in your heart with. You're trying to get this enormous amount of pleasure, but it seems to never stay. We keep doing these bad habits over and over again, and all it leaves us is exhausted and tired. It leaves us with nothing but pain and regret. All these bad habits that we do. These things hurt us more than we realize. It's affecting us badly. Our bodies, our lives. When we eat junk food, it's affecting our body so adversely. When we don't exercise, it's affecting our body. When we scroll on social media, it affects our mental health. When we keep doing this, we're trying to find happiness somewhere outside of ourselves. We're not able to be content with where we are. We're not content with what we have. We're not happy with what we have. And when you're not happy, you go and do these bad habits like scrolling on Instagram, eating junk food, eating sugar, and going smoking, drinking. These habits that are bad for you, but you need to rely on these external things to give you that happiness. But these things don't help. It doesn't work because what you need is inner peace. You need to make your life, you need to make your brain and your mind such that no matter what environment you're in, no matter what condition you're in, you're able to be happy with what you have. You're able to be content and happy. It's good to have goals. It's good to have goals that you want to achieve. You're not really happy with your body right now. You want to become healthier. You want to have more muscle. That's amazing. But what I'm talking about is we're not able to be happy. We're not content with everything that we have. We need to be happy with what we have, and you need to aspire for more. You should not neglect what you have and then only aspire for more, because that's what leads to these habits. We've stopped loving ourselves the way our ancestors might have. Our ancestors, they needed this body to go and fight the boars, to kill the boars, hunt down boars, and they get dinner from it. That's the way they used to work each day, at providing for their families, giving food to their tribe, with their bodies, with their strength. So they used to take care of it, they used to love themselves for it. And they would never go out and eat sugary foods like we do. So we need to start loving ourselves more than we love those habits. Because when you love yourself too much, you don't want to do those habits. You don't want to eat the sugar or the cupcakes or the cakes or whatever it is, the donuts. You don't want to go drink and smoke because you love yourself too much. You love your body too much to do anything bad to it. To start to degrade your body with these external things that give you this false sense of pleasure, this false sense of enjoyment. Give you this transient enjoyment for some time. But then later all you're left with is regret and sadness. And so you go do it more. You go do the bad habits even more. You continue doing this and now you're stuck in a cycle of these bad habits, this addiction. Everyone is addicted to some bad habit that we're trying to kick. Everybody. And what you need to do to get on your way to fixing that is to start loving yourself. To start loving yourself too much to do these bad habits. Start loving your body too much to put junk inside of it. When I see a cupcake, I don't want to eat it. I don't have the urge to go pick it up, or when I see some chocolate, I don't have the urge to go take it and eat it. Why? Because I love myself too much to put that garbage into my stomach, into my body. I don't want to put sugar into my body because I know it's bad for me. I know it's going to cause inflammation, it's going to cause an insulin spike. I'm going to gain fat from that. I know that, so I'm not going to eat the chocolate. Because I love my body too much, I love myself too much. And you need to start loving yourself too much to do these bad habits. And that's going to get you on your way to quit. It might not help you quit completely, but every single time you look at a piece of chocolate, you're going to think, you know what, I love myself too much. I can't eat this chocolate. Okay? But if you've been doing bad habits all this while, if you've been doing bad habits for past couple of years now, you've just been destroying your body, it's hard to love yourself. Because loving yourself comes from loving your younger self, which did all the actions that got you where you are today. I love my younger self because he went to the gym, he stopped eating junk food, and now I have a pretty good physique, and it's all because of my younger self. So I love my younger self, and by extension I love myself. But if your younger self played video games for hours a day, drank alcohol, smoked, ate junk food, didn't exercise, you're not going to love that version of yourself, are you? You're not going to love your younger self. So don't make your future self hate you now. Because the actions that you're doing will compound and he's going to have to bear the consequences. Your future self. Yourself a year from now is going to hate you. Right? It's going to hate the current version of you if you don't help it. If you don't help it improve. If you don't stop the bad habits that you're doing. Because they're detrimental to your health. And if you don't stop doing that, your mental health is going to decline. You're depressed because you don't like your younger self. Because your younger self got you this way. Right? And you're just cursing your younger self thinking, why couldn't you just go to the gym? Why could you just not just fight that temptation for that piece of chocolate? Maybe you're in that situation right now. Where you're cursing at your younger self. Why didn't you just exercise? It's just 1 hour a day. And you could have been in a better position. So do the same for don't do the same. Do better for your future self. Take care of yourself so that he can reap the benefits. It's not for you. These things that we do on self-improvement, improving our lives, nothing comes instantly. Like everything that we have these days, like modern technology, everything's instant. You want to feel a little bit of pleasure, you're feeling a little down, open up Instagram on your phone. Within seconds, you're feeling pleasure. You're getting that dopamine. You want food, you can order it on your phone and within 10 minutes it'll come to your doorstep. So where's the friction now? Without friction, there's no growth. Without discomfort, there's no growth. And we are only happy when we grow, when we're working towards our purpose, when we're working towards something meaningful. Then only we're happy. We're not happy when we're sitting around getting this pleasurable actions that we're doing, getting that pleasure, getting that dopamine. We're not happy when we do that. And that's not where true happiness comes. Happiness comes when you reap the rewards for something that you worked hard on. Think about this. If you start going to the gym today and you go for a couple of months straight, a few months from now, you're going to look at your physique and think, oh damn, that's a pretty good physique. And who built that? Your younger self. And you're going to be thankful for your younger self. You're going to be grateful because he avoided the junk food, he avoided all the chocolates, and he disciplined himself to go to the gym. So you need to be that younger self right now for your future self. You need to be that good version of yourself. You need to be a better version of yourself. And the way you do that is when you start taking care of yourself, little by little, every single time you have a decision to make. To pick up a piece of chocolate or to just let it stay there. Right? When there's chocolate on the table, do you pick it up or do you just leave it? Every time you get a decision like that, 1 out of 10 times if you make the right decision, you're on your way to improving. Every time you make a decision to not eat that junk food, you're increasing the love you have for yourself. When you start to take care of yourself, you start loving yourself more. You start liking your younger self more. You start being more grateful for him because he stepped away from the junk food. If you eat junk food 7 out of 7 days in a week, next week if you only eat junk food 6 out of 7 days a week and one day you just eat healthy, you're on your way to improving your life and improving yourself. You're going to be grateful for your younger self for that. And you need to start loving yourself by making sure that every decision you make is for the benefit of your future self. Because working for your future self is what you should be doing right now. And anything that you're doing for your current self should be treated as a treat that you do. Maybe you have a piece of cake with your family. That's completely fine. Because you're not really destroying yourself. You're having a piece of cake. You've been disciplined for a week. You're having a piece of cake. That's completely fine. The difference is if you're eating like this every single day of the week, 7 days a week, that's going to destroy you from inside out. You have no idea what horrible things these things do to your body. And when you do this, you're telling your brain that you don't love yourself. You're willing to trade in your health, your happiness for this momentary pleasure. It's going to destroy you. So make sure every decision you make is for the benefit of your future self. Make sure that everything you do is going to benefit you. And obviously you're going to slip up. Especially in the early stages, you're going to slip up more than you succeed. But you're making progress. When you want to improve your life, you take it slowly, one step at a time. Like I told you, if you eat junk food 7 days a week, next week try to make it 6, then try to make it 5, then 4, then 3. Try to make it 5 times a month, then 4 times a month. And slowly reduce it. Slowly reduce doing these things and your mental health will improve. And for that, and when your mental health improves, you start loving yourself, you'll start enjoying the moment that you're in, you'll have inner peace. It means no matter what environment you're in, you're going to be able to feel happy. Because you're no longer destroying your brain, your dopamine receptors, and your ability to feel happiness by doing these bad habits. Because when you do these bad habits, they give you so much pleasure that every time you experience something, it's going to be relevant to that experience. Whatever you do right now, maybe you go for a run in the park, maybe you go for a walk in the park, it's going to be so much more enjoyable if you relate that to some uncomfortable experience, like going to the gym, working hard, grunting, sweating. That's quite uncomfortable. When you relate that to going for a walk, you're going to feel pleasure, you're going to feel joy when you go for that walk in the park. But if you've just finished playing video games and then you go for a walk in the park, your brain is going to relate that walk in the park to you're playing video games. So suddenly there's such a big difference in pleasure from walking in the park and playing video games that you won't feel joyful when you walk in the park, when you have a conversation with someone you love. When it's relating that when it compares that to playing video games, it's going to be such less pleasure compared to that. So your dopamine system, it works on comparison to your recent experiences. The experience that you have recently, it's everything that you do after that for a while is going to get compared to that. So make sure that the things that you're doing, when you don't watch YouTube, you don't scroll on Instagram, because then you're going to lose that ability to enjoy life, to have joy in the simple things in life, like going out and getting that morning sunlight, drinking a nice cup of tea that your mom made, having a nice lunch that maybe your grandma made or your mom made nice food, and you're going to be able to enjoy that more compared to if you eat out every single day, you order food and then your mom cooks for you. You're not going to enjoy eating. I mean, you're scrolling on Instagram, you're not going to enjoy eating it because that food, the joy you get, the pleasure you get from that food is quite less compared to some processed stuff, isn't it? If you eat a muffin from the store, that's literally been designed to please you, to give you that pleasure, that dopamine. With how, like, I don't know how much sugar they put in there, but it's a ton. And sugar is so addictive. So when your brain compares that muffin to your mom's home cooking, of course you're not going to like it. This is why you seem to like everything less about life. That's why you get depressed. What's depression? You're not finding many things enjoyable. And the reason is you're doing so many hyper-stimulating activities that when your brain compares it to that, it just doesn't find joy in the things that you usually would love to do. Maybe you used to love playing football, and then you started smoking and drinking. Then maybe you started enjoying it less. Maybe you stopped playing it altogether. That's because your brain compares that joy of playing football to the pleasure you get from smoking and drinking. The pleasure you get from smoking and drinking, it's transient. It goes away after a while. And all you're left with is you being hungover and you reaping the consequences of your actions. So when you do something, make sure that everything that you do, you make sure you don't do any hyper-stimulating activities. That's why things like dopamine detoxing exist. Because you're trying to stop doing these hyper-stimulating activities so that you can enjoy life more. You can enjoy the simple things. And when you enjoy the simple things, you're always happy. When you don't have this hyper-stimulating things in your life, you're always happy. That's why you need to get on a dopamine detox. You need to stop doing these hyper-stimulating activities. And within a week or two, you just start enjoying life like you're a kid again. Remember when you were a child, you used to enjoy life so much. The small things, running around, used to be so enjoyable. But now you don't find that fun anymore. People think that when you just get older, that happens. But no, nowadays what happens is we all get addicted to social media. We all get addicted to these hyper stimulating things. And we grow up with that. When we grow up with these things like an iPad. Every kid has an iPad nowadays. So how are they going to enjoy the simple things when they're older? That's why so many teenagers, they just get depressed. They stay up till like 5 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning. They go to school with an hour of sleep each day. And do you realize how destructive that is? You would never do that if you loved yourself. If you loved yourself, you'd never stay up past your bedtime. Just destroy your brain with like brain dead content that you're watching on your laptop or with your phone. You wouldn't scroll till 3 a.m. in the morning. If you loved yourself, you'd turn off all that 1 hour before bed, get into bed and sleep on time. You wouldn't eat the cupcake for no reason because you love yourself too much for that. And every time I'm tempted to do any bad habit, I just have to remind myself. You have to remind yourself as well that you love yourself too much to do this. You need to remind yourself constantly, you love yourself too much. You need to tell your brain, force this into your brain that you love yourself too much to do these bad habits. And this has helped me reduce my bad habits so much. And it will help you as well. The first thing you have to do is just improve your mental health. You need to improve your mental health because that's the foundation to creating a better life. And everything I talk about, loving yourself, your self-image, everything I talk about on this channel, it all relates to mental health because that's the most important thing. Before physical health, before money, before relationships, before anything that you want, anything that you want to improve on or achieve, any goal that you want to achieve, the number one thing you have to do is improve your mental health. Because without good mental health, you can't hope to achieve anything. You can't hope to work hard. You can't hope to do good habits. Because it's so hard for you. When you improve your mental health, it's easy for you to stop doing the bad habits. Because when you improve your mental health, you just automatically start to love yourself more. And when you improve your mental health, you automatically stop doing the bad habits. You start doing the good habits. And it's so much easier. It's like when you have bad mental health, you're playing with a handicap. You can't win with bad mental health because you're just going to keep doing the bad habits. You're going to go scroll. You're going to watch TV. And when do you have time to work on your goal?